Hi, you're welcome to Ignition with me, Veronica Ikechi. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about what happens to children in the summer academically. There is something called the summer slide. I don't know if you've heard about it, but if you're a parent with school-age children, it is something you should know about. Yes. They call it the summer slide because the children slide into a place where they are not as academically able as they were when they stopped school in the summer. Think about it, the children have been rigorously working from September to July. Then all of a sudden, from end of July, end of school year, they are allowed to, do whatever they want to do for 6 weeks. And I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that you provide a schooling environment for them for the 6 weeks, no. But the reality is the brain is a muscle, and if it's not used, like everything else, it tends to relax. So the brain needs to be taxed at some point throughout the holiday period. Yes, estimates peg it to something like 2 months that a child, the average school child, depending on their ages, depending on the stage they're in, whether primary or secondary or what have you, on average can lose up to the equivalent of 2 months schooling. I think that's quite staggering. 2 months schooling over a 6 week period. And then add the mix of the fact that there has been a pandemic. We know that various studies have shown that various people in certain socioeconomic backgrounds tended to do less than those in better earning economic classes. However, it's not really set in stone. There were variation here and there, but on the whole, there was a marked difference. So if you add the fact that there was already a certain amount of disadvantage to certain groups, you add the summer to that. And what they say is that perhaps there's lack of motivation. There are various things that causes these situations whereby they are not as academically able. I don't think it's anything to do with the child per se. It's just the environment and the opportunities that the child has been placed with or that's been available to him or her. What this also does, apart from the two, first of all, let's go with the average 2 months brain drain. Then you add being behind from COVID. What they say is that being behind, there wasn't really a figure that, as far as I'm concerned, that was across board. But take it that some people didn't do as well as they should. Others did much better because, of course, they had the opportunities, they had the resources available, etc. So they were able to scale through, without any kind of difficulty or challenge. So if you add that to a child that's left school for the summer and they return in September, you can imagine how they're going to be behind, how academically backward they're going to be in relation to whatever state they're supposed to be at. And by the time they catch up, they add on another 6 weeks. I'm not quite sure about the calculations, but certainly everything that I've read seems to suggest that if there is that gap, and assuming there are two groups, one group, all they did basically was veg out on the sofa with friends, nothing really happened. Some added a bit of education and there was no difficulty in terms of brain slide or summer slide or whatever. They both attend school in September. The child that's behind is also going to be further behind because they'll need to catch up while the other child hits the ground running. So therefore, it can take the best part of, say, 2 terms, 1.5 to 2 terms to be able to catch up. So when you think about that and think about your child, it's really important that we build in an element of education. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the education has to be a formal learning or summer school or anything as intense as that. No, it could just be something like reading, getting interesting books for the child to read and getting them to discuss it and asking them questions. That's a form of comprehension. Reading and comprehension ticked off right there. And what they found was that, there was a loss in reading, but there was even a greater loss in mathematics. So it's about the parents finding ways to, help the children. If you're not good at it yourself, find somebody that can. And we're talking about, say, an hour of lesson a week, or even an hour of some sort of online learning a week that's fun. So it's just during the summer to be aware. There's so many things that parents can do. And even depending on the ages, you can take the child to the museum. Even if you're going away on holiday, you can use that period to explore about that particular environment, explore about the people, ask questions, get the child to do like a project or write-up about where they've been, and the parent themselves, obviously, hopefully they would have taken some time off work to be able to give them a bit more of their time. So they'll be able to ask questions, get involved. And of course, board games, everyone talks about board games. It's so important. It develops so many areas of the brain, etc. But it's important to factor in the fact that if children aren't structured, could you imagine the brain has been taxed since September to July, and then nothing happens? When I say nothing happens, I mean the same intensity of the subjects, the geography, the maths, the chemistry, etc. You don't do any of those on any grade level. What they actually say is that simply 2 hours per week is enough to, stop up to 2 months. So for instance, if you've got a week or two, it's not so bad. The catch up would be within the first 6 weeks, as opposed to having 2 months of break. So, it's just something for the parents to be aware of, during the summer. Please, let's see what we can do. Please put some structure in place that will help that child, so that when they start in September, they are ready. And you're also doing the teacher a great service in that the child is ready, and that they have various expectations per class. So they're starting at that expectation, if not exceeding it. Yeah, so it's just a little soundbite to let the parents and the children know, focus on, apart from the fun, or shall I say, as well as the fun, have lots and lots of fun, have lots and lots of relaxation. It's very important that consistent intensity is broken. However, within that period of time, ensure that you're building in learning for the children, you're building in experiences, and these things will put you in good stead for September. That's all I've got to say on this at the moment. Take care, and God bless you, and keep learning. Bye-bye.